Hey everyone, welcome to the KE Report, a company update from Novo Resources. I am chatting with the executive co-chairman, Mike Spreadborough, as well as the general manager of exploration, Kas De Luca. We are going to be talking exploration and drilling updates, mostly focused on the John Bull project, but also the other projects in New South Wales, one also in the Pilbara, recently completed a drill program. The company is traded on the TSX under the symbol NVO, on the OTCQB under the symbol NSRPF, and the Australian Exchange NVO. Mike, let's bring you in first. The most recent news release came from just yesterday, Monday, May 5th. You're outlining a new gold or an extended gold anomaly at the John Bull project. You're planning on drilling this fairly soon. This project was acquired, or you entered into an option agreement back in December of 2024, just last year. Explain to us this project. Again, just remind everybody about this asset and the work that went into extending this gold anomaly, please.
Yeah, thanks, Cory, and great to catch up with everyone. So yes, as people remember, Q4 last year, after a lot of work, we identified two really good projects to bring into our portfolio. We were looking for projects that we saw was advanced exploration, drill ready, projects where other people might have done some work but ran out of steam, whether it was strategic or money. So those two projects, Tibooburra, which is in the northwest corner of New South Wales, and the John Bull project, which is the northeast part of New South Wales. So both of those projects you will have seen in news releases. We've had work done on them this year. We've already talked about the Tibooburra field program, and that drilling program is actually up and running this week, which is fantastic. But today's announcement is all about John Bull and the great work that the team have done over 3 to 4 weeks on the ground, looking at the potential John Bull leading into an exploration program that we hope will kick off in late June.
Kaz, let's get you in here to talk about these results. Soil, rock chip samples. News release says you extended the gold anomaly. Talk to us about what the size of this gold anomaly is now and what type of gold system you're looking for, please.
Thanks, Cory, and great to be back. So the first thing we did early this year was we had a field team go out to site, both at Tibooburra and at John Bull. Obviously, the Tibooburra work has commenced first due to some pretty horrific rain that we've had in the New England area, which hosts the John Bull system. So we managed to get back out there, and we've done the work that we need now to get the drill targeting sorted out and come up with some pretty good results, as you can see, both in the board pack and the news releases. So initially, we liked the TechGen John Bull project because it had a really good soil anomaly, really robust, over 100 ppb gold, with 47 samples greater than a gram per tonne, with some really high grades even in the soil sampling, up to 10 grams, which is like really unusual for soil sampling. So it's a high order gold anomaly. It's got legs, it's got the extent of strike, and it's got the breadth as well of 300 or 400 meters wide. So what we've done, we've infilled and surrounded that soil sampling. We've only done the first phase before we got rained out, but it's enough to know a few things. First of all, we've extended that a few hundred meters further north, so it's around a kilometre and a half extent now. But we've also managed to infill some of the original soils, and we've got grades up to 1.59 in the soils, which really confirm for us that historical grade is real. You know, you look at a soil anomaly and you don't expect to see gram per tonne numbers in a soil anomaly. We usually talk ppb or less, So we're really confident that that anomaly is sound. We've also done a bunch of rock chips and got up to 67 grams per tonne in some quartz vein arrays. Yeah, you ask about the system. We are looking for an IRG, an intrusion-related gold system, because these are the ones that are big. We're looking for a big plus million ounce deposit. What we are seeing is some hints that there is a system there, but in the first instance, we see these. We've actually mapped now these arrays of quartz veins, which we think are really important. They are the main host to gold, and they're in a sequence of sediments, very complex folded sediments that the guys have managed to map out beautifully. So we know there's a system there that's over 1 kilometre long that we need to test. The first initial drilling will test 4 key target areas really defined by that soil anomaly, but also including fantastic results in quartz veins. And within the lithology now that we know is the preferred lithology. So we know that some of the controls on mineralization are coming out. We've pegged fault zones with really intense alteration. And we've also hit a major brexia that we've only tracked at the moment for a couple of 100 meters, but again with many samples over 5 grams per tonne, including that high one at 67.9. So, lots to like there, and targets are popping out that we've now designed about a 1,500 metre RC program for.
So, Kas, there's been some past drilling here in just the last couple of years by TechGen, the previous Explorer, about 2,200 meters in 2022 and 2023. How did these results play into where you did the soil samples you're targeting for that program that you have right now? And can you just outline what some of those results were too?
Yeah, absolutely, Cory. The initial drilling by TechGen, the first tranche came in with pretty spectacular results of around 70 metres at 1 gram, including 23 metres at 2 grams on a main section line, and then 94 metres at 0.95, including 66 metres at 1.14. And these results, they're broad, they're consistent, the grades are consistent, and they pretty much come to surface. So, you don't have to go underneath 80 metres of cover to get to these things. The sections are open at depth and open in all directions. We know there are some higher grades in there, but, the original work was really done and was pitched on those broader, lower grade sections. There's only about 300 metres of that 1.3, original 1.3K gold in soil anomaly that's been tested so far. And the deepest hole has really only drilled to 120 metres vertical. So in that area of drilling, we are calling that the John Bull main area. And we've got about half of our drilling that's actually going to be done, infilling and drilling underneath that area. And also now understanding the controls on the quartz vein trends and the preferred rock type that the analyses sit in.
So, Kas, with some of these past results, how close are you going to be drilling to them? Any, in a way, kind of validation or twinning of holes that'll happen within that program?
We're actually trying to expand the target, Cory. So rather than use up drill meters on duplication at the moment, we'll probably leave that to doing some diamond work as the next phase. Assuming that all our criteria for moving along are actually met with this program. But we really are trying to expand the anomaly both in strike and at depth at the moment.
Mike, quick comment from you. With these past drill results from just really a couple of years ago, how much did these drill results play into your move to have an option to acquire this project? How much else was involved in that decision?
Oh, without a doubt, the work that our team did prior to us completing the farming agreement, really focused on the previous results. We saw, as people have seen in previous releases, some really strong drill intersections in the small number of holes that have been drilled. So that gave us a lot of promise that there was something there. But we also identified that there was a lot of opportunity here by using the expertise of our team, and we saw a greater potential than maybe the previous owners. So to date, everything's gone really well. We're very excited with this piece of ground that we've picked up, and we're pretty excited about the drilling program that will happen, later in June.
So, Kas, there are 4 main targets identified within that news release. John Bull Main, you outlined that one. What about John Bull South, Hills Creek West, and Diggers North? What can you tell us? Any more information on these?
Right, so these 4 key target areas, they focus within that 1.5 kilometre vein system trend that we've identified. The soil anomalies are high grade in those areas that we've got prospects, and they include sheeted quartz veins, the preferred lithology, the fault zones. And in our previous release in December, There is some IP targets as well that are also in the mix. So each of these specific key targets, they will extend our knowledge of the trend. From Diggers North in the north to Hills Creek West in the south is almost a kilometre trend alone. So it's really trying again to spread our testing outside that main focus area, which we know has got some spectacular results already. And try and expand our knowledge and our success in hitting mineralization in the quartz vein systems that we're starting to understand now.
All right, so all this leading up to that drill program news release says you're hoping to start that in June. Again, 1,500-meter RC program. Let's just look ahead now to what work's been done, what work is underway, and what sort of news we will see. Mike, in terms of the drilling that was just completed at Balla Balla, drilling that has just started at Tibooburra, that's another one of those new projects just acquired. What can you tell us about any of this drilling?
Cory, we're pretty well on track, a couple of weeks behind the program that we announced earlier in the year. So, as you said, Balla up in the Pilbara, just north of Karratha, we've just completed the drilling program there. It's an air core drilling program. We're prioritising results through the lab, so hopefully in about 3 weeks we'll see the results. But a reminder to people, we built an 80-kilometre tenement package along the coast. Why do we like it? It's really related to the shoal shear. All the drilling program is really focused on understanding whether the shoal shear has been a good conduit for mineralisation and whether we see some similarities to the large 13 million ounce Hemi project, which is about 100 kilometres away on a parallel shear called the Mulliner. So we like the Balla Balla project. The geos have done a great job and we'll see results in 3 weeks. And as you said, the project that I talked about before that we picked up in December, the Tibooburra project, we did field work earlier in the year in great heat, a really good job by the team in 40 degrees temperature. And that's now led, per our recent announcements, to the drilling program that started this week. So it's about a 3-week drilling program. So people would expect to see us announce some of the results around in 6 weeks. If you look at the pictures of Tibooburra, previous owners have focused on the new Bendigo area. We're really focusing on the Clone area. We think that has a stronger potential to grow, and that's what this drilling program is really all about, really understanding the Clone area and its potential to hold a larger mineralised system. So things are really good. Balla Balla, Tibooburra, and as we've talked about today, John Bull drilling being organised in June. And really, where do we go in Q3 this year will really depend on the results that we get from each of these 3 drilling programs. Do we head back to the Pilbara where we've still got some other great targets, gold, antimony and nickel targets, or do we head back to New South Wales for follow-up drilling? Not sure yet. We'll see where the results are.
So, Mike, with all this exploration underway and planned, how much cash does the company have?
Yeah, so we've got around about $9 million Australian in the bank. So we're good to be able to execute our program. So that's great. We are still out there looking for other projects to add to our portfolio. We're keenly focused on trying to grow that portfolio at the drill ready area. So our project generation work keeps going. So we're in a good position, high gold prices, good copper prices. It's a great start to the year.
Mike, what about the marketable securities that the company holds? I know that's access to capital as well.
Yeah, correct. So some people are aware that we did liquidate some of our San Cristobal mining portfolio in December. We may do that later in the year or we may seek equity. It'll really depend on where we see our results and markets. We are still like to use the SCM as a bit of a war chest. And look, the 3D Electrum position has always been a great investment for us. At some stage when it's appropriate, we'd like to move out of that investment. But I think people would appreciate across the United States at the moment is not the time to liquidate tech stocks, even unlisted ones. It's just not a great environment at the moment.
All right, Mike, Kas, thank you for this update. I'll post a link to the company's website. You can read over that recent news on the John Bull project. Also, send me any questions you have for the team over at Novo Resources. Thank you very much for the update here, Mike and Kas.